Please begin to introduce yourself live on the chat section.
Right, it's 5 o'clock already. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to day one officially of the Get Into Tech program, which is organized by TechSemester. I'm Testimony Adebi, the head of media and communications at TechSemester. And this program, Get Into Tech, was organized by TechSemester, an ambitious ed tech startup that is on a mission rather, to get 500,000 people. Yes, transform them into tech talent in the next 5 years. So this program was organized for young people, specifically undergraduates, to expose them to the world of tech, how to choose the right career path, and all they need to know to get started. So congratulations to you if you are already here, because you're one step closer to building a successful career in tech. So we have our speaker already here, and before I hand over to him, I'd like to introduce him. So Daniel Damlola Obiokeke is, I hope I got that correctly, is a software engineer, 3-time Wikipedia grantee, and Mozilla community lead. Daniel developed the online presence of Buckler Ordnance till he joined CloudBank as a founding front-end engineer. He currently writes Solidity and debugs smart contracts on the Ethereum blockchain at Unblock Africa, and is the current regional ambassador for Product Hunt for Nigeria. He'll be speaking to us this evening on front-end development. I hope you are excited as I am. Welcome, Daniel. We're so glad to have you with us. You have the floor now.
Hi, Testimony. Thank you very much for, yeah, so great to be here. Sorry, I won't be turning off the video, everybody. I would have loved to see everyone's faces. Trailblazer, as it ends up so early already, okay. I wouldn't mind if I have those ends up when I'm done. So we'll be able to, you know, do the very best that we can. So I'll share my slide immediately I'm done. However, let me see if I can share my screen already. Just hold on. Yeah, okay. So if you are here, okay, let me see the chat. So Daniel, excuse me. Okay, please ask us to give me permission to record. I'm not recording. I just want to share my screen.
Oh, okay. I'll make you co-host then.
Okay. So can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay. Let me. Okay, you can see my screen now.
Yes,
okay, let me just move on then. Okay. Yeah. So front-end development. Because I understand that it's a very young crowd today. A crowd as young as I am. I'll be using Rema as my guide today. Can somebody here tell me is our favorite Rema song? Apart from Testimony, though, can anyone their favorite Rema song? Is this being live streamed? Testimony?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah, so can someone tell me their favorite Rema song?
If you like to talk, you can either chat. Which would you prefer, Daniel?
Okay. I'll just check the chat. Calm down. Okay. Calm down. Okay, calm down. Another person said, calm down. Who else? I want to see the day ones. I want to see the day one Rema fans. Okay, let's see. Everybody's saying calm down, like, geez. I can't see the day one. Okay, maybe, yeah. I have someone from day one. Maybe, yeah. So I'm using Rema today because I see Rema as one young person that really fits into the front end narrative that we want to talk about today. You know, yeah. So I'll be guiding us with Rema. So front end development is like music production, in my opinion. I see front end development as this. There's a lot of things that have happened in the back, you know. There are a lot of things that have happened in the back, and front end just comes to bring it all together. Like, hey, like this is cool. This is amazing. People see a lot of fresh stuff. People see a lot of cool stuff. People see a lot of amazing stuff in the front side. But the truth about it is that, hey, see, lots of things go into this. For example, I did a website I'm working on a website for someone today, and is receiving payments on the site. People have to fill a form for classes before they can enroll. And it just tells me to put what here, and put the other thing there. But then the thing is, a lot of things happen. You as a user can just go to that site and you can just put in your name, your address, and you can put in your name, your address, and everything like that. And you will just see that your payment has been successful, and you see that what you paid is already working. You understand? It's already working. But then a lot of coding, putting up APIs together has actually happened before you actually see that happen. So all the work, all the studio work, the beats, the stem separation, the mixing, the mastering is like back end. Singing would be like the front end. You know, you don't just start singing and start making the music. You don't just start singing like that. You get back end does all those things. Or still, you could sing before the back end and you could sing after the back end. But what just have to exist is the fact that some things go up in the background, and those beautiful songs you hear are just like Rema singing while a lot of things go up happening in the back. So what's the job description of a front end developer? Like, what do front end guys do? Like, what do they do? When you hear people say, I do front end, what do they do? So basically, front end guys write HTML, CSS, JavaScript. HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And they write it to do what? To show the front part of the website that everyone can see. You know, the front part of the website that everyone can see. A front-end developer develops the look and feel of a site or app. For example, when I was at CloudBank, we had, CloudBank was all about you saving money, sending money, and investing money. But then we had to use APIs from Providence Bank, you know, Monify, APIs from different payment gateways to be able to collect money from people. Then to save that money, we had to use Providence. And to make it get alerts, we have to use textxyz.ng. It's an API for payment and for alerts. You understand? So a front-end developer just puts up all those things that you can see, those nice things that you can see, the things you can click, the button, the pictures. You know, it's the front-end guy that does all that. For example, if you have a little background with HTML, you know that you can actually put img src to show the images, you understand, you know, to choose the color. But you don't get to do all those things on the back end, you understand? So the front-end developer just does the parts of it that you can see, develops the parts of the app that you can see. The front-end developer also develops the interface which the user interacts with the site or app. it gives a face to the back end, developers work. That's what the back end developer, that's what the front end developer does. So for example, here you can see this guy sitting down and this guy standing up. Don Jazzy is like the back end product guy. The back end is the back end guys. They know what should happen. The code, the APIs, and everything. How this integrates into the database. They know that. You understand? And but the front end developer is always interacting with the product manager and the back end guy as well. He's always getting, they work hand in hand because the front end guy is always there to consume the APIs and everything. And also sometimes the back end guy also needs to implement features for the things that the front end guy has done. And as usual, they can't work without being guided. They need to have a project brief. They have to have a project they are working on. So a front-end guy and a back-end guy would do a lot of work together, but then they're always sipping their project brief, like, guys, so how are we going to work on this project? How are we going to stick to this project? This button that you're having to put here is not with the project, though. They don't go off the project grid. For example, Facebook cannot say they want to put up a Facebook, voice call option, like a group, like something like Spaces that Twitter has already, so they just stick to the project brief and they work very much hand in hand. That Don Jazzy is more or less like the beats guy. He's always in the beats. Now we do the beat Jazzy, and Don Jazzy is Don Jazzy again. He's always in the beat, mixing the sounds, putting it all together. However, the front end guy is now the one that now puts the voice to it. What you can hear. If Don Jazzy puts up the whole piano beat, piano thing, and I always know that Don Jazzy kind of has like this kind of very froggy voice, though. But then if Don Jazzy pretty much puts his voice together, or if he puts the beat together, the stem and everything together, we will not really be able to make a lot of sense with it. Yeah, it will make a lot of sense. You hear things like, we hear a lot of fast beats, and all. But you've never seen a fast beat make it to the top of Spotify, and nobody really invites you to, except Daft Punk. I don't know how many of you know Daft Punk. How many of you know Daft Punk? Except you're Daft Punk, nobody's gonna really call you to a show and tell you to start playing only beats, of course, except you're Daft Punk, Grammy-winning Daft Punk. Yeah, so front-end developer is also someone who works very much hand in hand with the UI UX person. The UI UX person is always telling him or her what to do, and also the content writer. How does the UI UX person come in? So in very sophisticated projects, the UI UX guy designs how it should look like. But then when he designs how it should look like, the front-end developer is the person that knows how to code it to look like what it is, how to code the positions and how they should all look like. The content writer is also somebody that works with the UI UX person and the content and the front-end developer person. In the sense that the content writer is one that tells if the button should be participants or attendees. The content writer is one that says, should it be mute button or disable voice? Should it be end call or cancel call? Should it be Zoom makes you connect to the world, or Zoom is a global video call? So the content writer does all that. Moving forward, the workflow instances of a UI UX person. So on a very proper scale, like in a very proper setting, a UI UX person, a UI UX person and the backend person and the product manager are always in line. What do I mean? The product manager sees the entire product. You understand? Because you know, a front-end developer is not the owner of the product. You know, it's not his product, basically. So a product manager comes up and say, hey, we are doing a fintech app that would allow people send money that they do not have. Oh yeah, UI UX guy, design it. UI UX guy designs it, makes it flow from the login page to the creating accounts page, to the dashboard, to the debit page, to the transactions page, to the settings page, to the crash page, to the successful everything. He does it. Then he now moves it to the front-end developer who now code everything and say, oh, when the user comes and this is the first page, you know, he will now do those page flow. Okay, hold on. I'm going to answer that. You know, so product manager passes his own brief. The UI UX person gives it some flesh. The front-end developer now takes it from the UI UX person to then the front-end person now, once it's done, it can now pass it to the back-end guy who now starts putting it together. It's just like Nonjaz is saying, oh guys, see, we've got to make the next song very, very classy. UI UX guy says, okay, let me like kind of design and probably write the song. Then Rema just comes and say, ah, you get. Then the back-end guy now start putting the beat like, ah, start giving the beat. So the product, or in some instances, we have the product manager probably want to upgrade some things. For example, I don't know if you can still see my screen. Hold on.
Yes, we can.
Okay, can you see this, for example? Okay, hold on, sorry. Please hold on. Trying to. So for example, these are Discord at CloudBank. You know, I've left CloudBank, but I'm still on the Discord. So the front-end guys have their own stuff. The back-end guys have their own stuff. You understand? API documentations and everything keeps happening here. So can you see the Discord? Did you see the Discord?
Yes, we can.
Okay, yeah. So I'm back here now. So when the product manager has an idea, there are some times whereby the backend guy works before the front-end developer guy. What do I mean? In the sense that probably we've launched the product already, and maybe we're having some debit issues. You know, maybe we've launched the product already, and let's say, let me give this instance. For example, users are now complaining that they cannot see their users are saying they cannot, maybe when they send money to somebody, you know, and the person has not yet received it, or the money hasn't gone through. Probably they want to be able to cancel the money. Oh, I've successfully sent who is on the call? Who is on the call? I successfully sent Ajibola money. But then I'm like, if Ajibola has not yet withdrawn the money, as in he has not moved the money from the platform, then let me just be able to cancel that. So in such instances, the front-end guy can design something, but then it still has to be with the back-end guy to, you know, implement it. So sometimes you might even be in instances whereby the UI UX person will not even be involved, you know, as a front-end developer. And sometimes as a front-end developer, you might be in situations whereby the product manager is the only person that you have to report to. The product manager sometimes can be your client. The product manager sometimes can be your boss. And there's no back-end person or a front-end person. So you wonder, so where is the back-end person? So there are some projects that do not require a back-end person. And there are some projects that are very, very simple that they do not require a UI UX person. Yeah. So at such instances, you have to be on your own. So I've got questions here. Let me see. Product manager is greater than the front-end developer. Greater is, okay, so this greater than is actually a workflow thing. I'm not saying it is greater than, but then on a team level, the product manager supersedes the front-end developer big time, because the product manager is the owner of the project. The front end developer is not the owner of the project. Yeah, yeah. So so I'm not saying it's greater, but then in the product setting, it's actually higher, you know, it's actually higher. It's one that tells you, oh, the users want it blue, oh, the users want black, you know, or probably the users want a dashboard. You know, if you don't want it, there's a website that don't have a dashboard, you know, it's a you know, product manager that actually chooses those things. So does this mean the product manager does the thinking and how the work will be started? Yes, the product manager assigns all the roles. He does the thinking. He does, yeah, he's the one that really does the thinking. Basically, the front-end developer still does think. It does think. UI UX also thinks, but when it comes to the product, you know, the product part of the job, you know, of the work, you know, the product manager decides. For example, I remember data was on that will tell us that, oh, if we want to have a investment feature, we have to wait for about 2 months so that we finish this first. You know, so sometimes I, as a front-end developer, was very excited to say, oh, let me implement. But she said, no, don't implement it yet. Wait till this time. You know, the product manager just knows. The product manager supersedes everything. If the product manager knows what you don't know about the product, you know, so basically, yeah. So what are the skills, you know, what are the skills that make a product, you know, what makes a product developer? These are the skills that make up a product developer. First of all, you got to know your HTML, then your CSS, and you got to scoop your JavaScript, because you don't know JavaScript, you ain't going nowhere, bro. So HTML just makes your site look very basic, like it's just text and color. But then CSS gives it some better feel, like gradients and the rest, makes it fly. But then when you have to come into things like responsiveness, you want your site to probably have some certain flow, then you've got to get your JavaScript. Now, there's this website I actually wrote down for you guys here. The website is roadmap. Roadmap. Let me come down here. Roadmap. So this roadmap is I'll drop the page in the chat. So it shows you the roadmap you have to really go through if you want to be a front-end developer. First, you should understand how the internet works. Nobody browse. You shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be planning to get to know front-end if you don't even know how to browse. You understand? You have to know what domain name is. So the first thing is you have to understand the internet. Then you have to understand HTML. You know, learn the basics of HTML, how to write HTML, you know, how to do your, you know, layouts and the rest. Then you now get to CSS. You know, you have to learn CSS, how to do layouts, how to do your grids and the rest of that. You know, then you have to now get to JavaScript. And from JavaScript, you now move up to how to use GitHub, you know, how to do web security. Then from there, you learn CSS architecture. Then from there, you now get to React. You now get to modern CSS frameworks, you know, Tailwind and the rest of that. You now move to the rest. These things that you are seeing here are not really as troublesome as you think it is. So, you know, you can even start making your money. For example, I made my first million at this stage. That's this JavaScript stage, you understand? And I already even started getting gigs in 6 figures at this CSS stage, basically. So you don't really have to now say, hey, I've got to get to this point though, you know? So before Rema even knew how to perform on stage, and before he even got to the O2 Arena to start performing, he already got his hands on the HTML, CSS, and he was already making money. So that's it. So I'll leave this link now, and I'll also share my slides when I'm done, regardless. So let me drop this link right here. Oh, thank you, Alima, thank you. Yeah, so I got to close this course. So career opportunities for, yeah, what's up? Good afternoon. Say hello to everybody. Say hello, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, so kids back from school, meaning I've got to go. So job opportunities, number one, you can be a freelancer. You know, people could call you up for gigs here and there. You could also do collaborations with your friends. For example, I'm going to be part of 3 different startups. I'm going to have a stake in 3 different startups this month or next month, simply because I'm doing the front end part of it. You know, I'm not dropping money, I'm not doing anything, but because I can actually do the landing page, you know, because I can actually do the landing page. One of them is in the UK, 2 of them are in the UK. I think one is in the US. You know, they always trouble because a lot of people are always looking for people that can actually code. Because to get somebody that can code, you need to get a lot of money down the pipeline. For example, I told you guys I was actually implementing a pay stack stuff for someone to receive payments. He can't he couldn't talk me into being a partner. So he had to part with 6 figures sum, you understand? While the rest of them who could actually talk me into being a partner, you know, just have to know that by the time the millions come, we share it together. You understand? So you can either be a freelance, collect your 6 figure, 7 figure, and disappear after you finish the job, or you could just be on the collabs level, which is when you have friends who are very idealistic. I want to design something that will make something look like something that will be something. We just say, hey man, I can do it. And I'll do it in 1 hour. And you know, you invested in the future that way. Or contracts, you know, contracts are like, hey, one hire, you're not just freelance, go away, but then I want you to be on part of our company. For example, I've left like Cloud now, I've left Cloud Bank, but then I still have a contract chance with them. You know, when I left Cloud now, I was the digital officer while I was there. But because I'm good at my front end thingy, when I resigned, they called me back and said, oh boy, we'll put you on the contract, you know, so that you can, we'll put you on the contract so that, you know, you'll be maintaining our site for us, doing some things for us, and, you know, you'll be getting paid 6 figures a month. Meanwhile, when I was there with them, I was earning 5 figures, you know, and I have that kind of contracting with other places too. You know, once I'm done, I'll just send them my invoice. Or you can get hired, you understand? So you could get hired, you know, by, let's say, you know, you can just get hired by some very beautiful companies. I've got this mailing list. No, I've got this, not mailing list. No, I've got this list on Twitter for blockchain jobs. You know, if you want to get on the list, but then you're still very young, you know, you don't know front end yet, you know, but then who can tell when you are ready to jump on the list? It's a list I created for blockchain jobs because I got my 40K per year job very recently. So I didn't even do front end now, Seth. I basically just think. That's what I do for a living. I think and do some couple of things. I don't earn, as a front end guy, I was earning 6 figures in Naira, but now I'm earning like $3,000 per month, you know, doing what I do now because I've got a lot of experiences in the back. So when you put up your front end game, you never can tell where it's going to land you. So my time is over. Let me see questions here. So yeah, so on my slide, it's time for questions. And you can follow me on Twitter if you want to follow me. You could also follow me on Instagram if you want to follow me. Rema is begging you not to calm down, ask questions. And she's also asking you, ask now. See this guy, no one asks. You've got TechSemester here. They're doing a very great thing for you right here. I'm very based that these guys, TechSemester is actually great. You know, sharing all this knowledge with everyone for free. Okay, so product manager is, I've actually explained that. Is the product manager the one that does the thinking? I've explained that. Is there any difference between a web designer and a web developer, or they're just referring to the same person? So web designer are basically supposed to be web developers. So a web designer is somebody that just stays on HTML, CSS, you know, he can't do contact forms. But a web developer is anyone that actually does anything that's, stop, please, I'm in a meeting. Yeah. So a web developer is someone who actually does things like PHP, JavaScript, you know, connect things to databases. I regard anyone, I don't think there's anyone doing web design that will really say design, basically, because I think Every web designer is becoming a web developer these days, because if you're not a web developer, you would have been out of the job, basically. I'm understanding now, is there more of a super, yeah. So a product manager is a supervisor. Thank you. The slides are exciting. Thank you. Can you gradually explain the roadmap? Can you explain the roadmap gradually? So the roadmap is self-explanatory. I've dropped the link, so you could just go through it. It's very explanatory. It's just saying, this is what to learn, and this is what to learn, and this is what to learn, and this is what to learn. It's just like a scheme of work. So it's self-explanatory. Yeah. So in the absence of any questions, I'm glad I've been able to stick to the 30 minutes frame granted to me. Thank you very much for your time, everyone. Thanks, Testimony, for having me around.
Thank you very much, Daniel. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that very, very insightful session. In case you have questions that you don't want to send, you might want to send later, you can reach out to him, like you said, on his Twitter, Instagram, and probably on LinkedIn too, and reach out to him privately to have some of your questions. Thank you so much, Daniel. Once again, you made Fronted look so very sweet and inviting.
Thanks,
especially with you.
Thanks,
Thank you so much. Before you go, I would like to ask if there was one advice you could give anyone who is considering starting, just one advice, considering starting journey in the world of front end, what would it be?
Okay, beware of the learning. I don't know, I can't remember what it's been called now, but beware of the learning trap. Beware of trying to learn theoretically without any practice. You know, basically just make sure that whatever you're learning now, you are implementing it. My first website was basically for the church, you know, for the teens church, you know, at camp. I could do HTML, I could do CSS, I could do PHP, you know, but then I was like, and so nobody's giving me a gig. Nobody's giving me a gig. So what I'll just do next is that, let me just do a website where teenagers can ask questions and the counselor will answer. So I did a website called Teens Talk About It, whereby teenagers come, ask questions, and when they ask the question, counselors will receive the question in their own email and they can respond. So that was basically my first website. You know, and now we are doing payments, we are doing fintechs, we are doing blockchain and the rest of that. So yeah, someone also asked, so I'll just say whatever you're learning, implement it immediately. Any resources or link you'll give to supply beginners, boundless resource, you know, to learn. I'd say Web3 schools, web schools, you know, web schools is a good, let me go web schools. Web schools is a good place to start with. Free Code Camp is also a good place to start with. You know, Free Code Camp is a good place to start with as well. And those, yeah, so it's a good place to start with. Okay, one. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Musadulu, thanks. Yeah, so that's basically
All right.
it. Yeah, so I'll say whenever you're learning anything from, that's something I enjoy about UI UX designers. That's why they probably have more edge compared to coding folks. Because whenever UI UX designers, they just look for one use case ASAP. You know, they'll tell you, oh, I've designed something for Sterling Bank, or, you know, I've designed something for PiggyVest. You know, they go very fast. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that advice. I think part of opportunities that could also help is volunteering for organizations. Just start something. Thank you so much, Daniel. So we've come to the end of today's session. Would love to hear from you again. You could make posts on your social media platforms, whatever it is you learned from today's session. You could tag TechSemester. You could also tag Daniel if I think he does not have a problem with that, on LinkedIn and on Twitter. And a feedback form would also be sent to the various WhatsApp groups and Telegram page. So you could also feel that would love to hear from you. Thank you so much, everyone, once again for joining in. We'll see you on Friday. Much details will be shared later. So we've learned about the REMA parts. We will be talking about the Don Jazzy. Not, I don't want to use Don Jazzy, but about the back end part, you get the gist. So talk about back end on Friday. I hope you had an amazing time, because I did too. Thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye for now.